despise the term guitar nerd, and I'm gonna let you know why today. We ain't guitar nerds, we're guitar heroes, baby. Now, the Urban Dictionary says that a guitar nerd, a person who obsesses over guitars and guitar-related paraphernalia. This person spends most or all of their time talking about guitar and famous guitarists. They barely take the time to actually learn how to play a song from start to finish. A large number of these people attempt to learn songs like Stairway to Heaven by Led Zeppelin. A guitar nerd will also obsess over a certain model or brand of guitars such as the Les Paul, Stratocaster, or SG. Guitar nerd, I just bought a new pedal for my SG, friend one. Yeah, that will go good with all your other pedals, amps, and guitars you don't know how to use. Friend two, dude, you are such a guitar nerd. Now I know Pete Thorn put out an album, Guitar Nerd, and he's got a picture of himself as a little kid, you know, and looking kind of nerdy. And I know that Joe Bonamassa famously names all of his locations, whether it's Nerdville East or Nerdville West, or I don't even know, what does he call his Nashville location? Let me know in the comments. They kind of accept the term guitar nerd, and I've always felt that that is a derogatory term. It is not a term I feel represents most guitar players. I don't think every guitar player is a guitar nerd. If you feel that you're a guitar nerd and you think it's cool to be a nerd, then, you know, I salute you. But I don't think, I've always hated that term, and I always felt it was bad for guitar players as a moniker, as a description for what we are. Do we obsess over tone? Absolutely. Do we enjoy talking about different brands and different pickups, and, you know, whether top wrapping your Les Paul is going to improve your tone, or what amps, you know, are best, or who makes the best modeler and all that? Yes, we do obsess over that, just like anybody would obsess over the thing that they are focused on. Would you call somebody a football nerd if they actually play football? And this Urban Dictionary definition, you know, this says spends most or all their time talking about guitar, and yet they barely can play it, and they never learn a song. You know, that's not what Joe Bonamassa or Pete Thorn are. Those are two of maybe the best guitar players out there. And the fact that they relish or use the term guitar nerd, well, that's on them. And if that's what they're comfortable with. But man, let me tell you something. Being a guitar player is a choice. And it's a choice a lot of us made at a very young age. I think I was probably, 8 or 9 years old when I decided I wanted to play guitar. And, it was something that, I decided to do after hearing, Elvis and hearing the screams of the girls in the crowd, hearing the reaction. And I know Elvis wasn't like an amazing guitar player, but he would strap on that guitar, and it was kind of like Superman strapping on his cape. And I know Elvis wore capes, and it was a way to take him out of poverty. It was a way to take him out of being a nerd and to make him a hero. And that is the reality of what playing guitar does. It doesn't make you a nerd. It makes you a guitar hero. And especially if you're actually playing somewhere or play, whether it's a high school talent competition or the local bar or a stadium or an arena or a club or a backyard party, all it takes is one gig for somebody to go out there, play guitar, meet the love of their life, or have the time of their life, or have their best 15 minutes in the back room of the green room, man. But that's the reality of it, man. Once you put on that guitar and you get up on stage, your whole presence in the eye of people is completely different. And let me tell you something. It's not that you're a guitar nerd. Yes, you may have obsessed over which tube screamer is best, and should I get my tube screamer modded, and what if I change the pickups in my guitar? What if I decide to put a variac on my Marshall? I mean, Eddie Van Halen is a perfect example of somebody who obsessed over his tone. And you could argue that, Eddie Van Halen may have been seen as somewhat of a nerd to his fellow high school students. I know those guys, they were learning English. They didn't quite fit in with the rest of the students, and at one point in time, I think Eddie and Alex were each other's own best friends because they were from a foreign country. They didn't fit in. So Eddie, picked up the electric guitar and began to obsess over it. And his obsession over tone, his tinkering with his guitars, his trying out different things, his guitar nerd segment of his life turned him into a guitar hero when he took it onto the stage. And I'd say even before David Lee Roth came in and amped up Van Halen and brought the sex appeal in and all that, I would think that even before that, Eddie Van Halen very quickly was noticed locally in his high school and the people of Pasadena as a guitar hero. Never even considered a guitar nerd. Was he a nerd? Before that, were many guitar players nerds in high school? You could argue that point. But just like any nerd, and I'm talking a real nerd, a nerd who has the pens, pocket protector in his glasses and just like a nerd will figure out how to use his brains to make a lot of money and potentially become some sort of hero in real life, or at least just a very wealthy nerd. A nerd who takes up guitar will soon learn at a young age, when they play that high school talent show, when they graduate from high school and start playing in bars or clubs or the local VFW hall, very quickly learn that it lights up their life. And I'm not talking about Debbie Boone or whoever sang that song. Let me know in the comments. But man, playing guitar will light up a crowd, and it doesn't matter what you look like. As long as you sound good, man, you're going to get the twinkle in a girl's eye, in a lady's eye, in a woman's eye. And it doesn't matter if you're 18 or 58. If you get up on that stage and you play something, maybe sing along with it, because that's certainly that will amp up your hero status if you can sing as well. And you'll find that it doesn't matter how old you are, or what state you're in, or any of that you are a hero. And this is why, a lot of us, we're trying to find our way in high school. And I know I was really into sports as a kid. By the time I went to public high school, I was all in on guitar and had no interest in doing anything where I might break a hand or not be able to play for a while. Because I discovered, and I think this was, it was elementary school when the first time I played a school's talent contest. And I want to say it was fourth grade, but maybe it was later than that. I don't remember. I don't remember how old I would have been in fourth grade. I can remember getting up there with my Univox 335, and I had a hat that had it was a shirt. It was a shirt that I had gone to one of those t-shirt places in the mall with the iron on, and I'd gotten New York Groove put on the shirt in these shiny letters, and I had a Harmony tube amp that when you cranked it up, it would naturally distort. And I got on that high school gymnasium stage, and I had the old school PA with the two little speakers mounted that were basically only good enough to talk through, and not very high fidelity, and one of those old microphones like you'd see, Elvis sing through back in the day. And I got up on that stage, and I don't even know if I had a guitar strap. I think I might have put my foot up on the amplifier when I played, or no, I had a guitar strap. But I got up there and I played New York Groove by Ace Frehley, and I did. And something in me told me that the natural performer in me said, get up there and dedicate it to your class. So I dedicated the whole song to the fourth grade class. And I remember around that time that we were kind of a rambunctious group. There were a lot of guys into Kiss. We were kind of it seemed like the black sheep of the school. And so when I got up there on that mic and dedicated the song to my entire class, and then proceeded to play New York Groove, which I don't think the nuns realized that I was singing about being in the back of a limousine with a naked lady sitting beside me. But the whole fourth grade stood on their feet and cheered. And I came off that. I might have gone on that stage being a guitar nerd. But when I finished that song, I was no longer a nerd. And I realized right then and there, man, the power of an electric guitar, the power of a song. I wasn't obsessing over pickups at the time. I wasn't worried about my tube screamer. I wasn't concerned about what guitar I had. I had a POS Univox 335 copy and a old Harmony tube amp. And I didn't know tube screamers weren't even in existence. There wasn't even enough gear in the world to really obsess over at that time. But, I got up on that stage and I might have started the day off being a nerd. But as soon as I finished that song and heard that crowd erupt, I was a nerd no more, baby. And it didn't matter if, 10 years or 20 years down the line or 30 years or even today, when I obsess over gear sometimes, or I think about different parts or trying different things, I'm not a nerd anymore. I'm not a guitar nerd because I found the power of a crowd. I was able to live out my dreams, and there's nothing that can be gained by calling ourselves guitar nerds. I prefer the term guitar hero because all it takes is one show, one guitar, one cable, one amplifier, and you're instantly transported to superhero status.